Coming up this week on the Parkitonpodcast, we get into our match reports. We have an update for the pay to win index. We're going to talk a little bit about how the BPL's tracking. And of course, we're going to end it off with a little bit of Schuey's wisdom. It's time to park it on. Welcome back to the Park It On podcast, the only lawn bowls podcast dedicated to capturing that feeling of really just parking a lawn bowl on for shot. My name is Riley, one of the Div 5 bowlers of all time, and joining me, as per usual, is the whimsical, the mystical, the metaphysical, the simply irresistible, Jimmy.
You've got an extra one this week.
Yeah, you got an extra one.
Metaphysical.
I was like, you know what? Yeah, I had to add that extra little bit of spice to it, you know.
We always say that Terry is a metaphysical being at lawn bowls. It really confuses the oldies, but we think it's really funny.
Well, that's the thing, right? That Terry is all of us, and he's none of us. He's in the stars somewhere, and he's down in the little dirt beneath our feet. What a fucking beautiful, beautiful creature that Terry is. Oh dear. But yes, another week of bowls. Not a super crazy week of lawn bowling, Jimster.
No.
Obviously, states are happening at the end of this week. We've had a little bit of BPL, but we can't talk about how everyone went overall. But we'll give you a little bit of a taster, a little bit of a match report, and of course, we'll finish off with a little bit of wisdom. You know, we got to get Mr. Schuey back. I assume he's still alive.
He is. I have checked.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, we'll get him on the pod. We'll be like, can we get some live Schuey's wisdom, please? I reckon that's what we'll do when we make it big and get fucking thousands of listeners, eh?
Yeah, when we commentate BPL.
Exactly. Get us on to commentate the BPL. Give us one game, the start of the day. Chuck us on a side stream. You don't have to tell anyone it's happening, and we'll fucking go it.
Bowls Australia did comment on our Instagram post. They know who we are now.
They did. They saw our tag and they were like, you know what, these guys, we're going to respond to them, and yeah, get us on the coverage, guys. You know, BPL 22 youth content by fucking Park It On podcast. Let's go.
All right. So do you want to talk to me about how you went on the weekend, Riley?
Well, you see, we played a little bit of lawn bowls, Jimstar, against the Brighton Bowls Club. Now, my love of the Brighton Bowls Club is very well documented, given that I very quickly moved on from commenting on the Brighton Bowls Club last week. But power to the guys that we played with. I feel like I just get really bad luck when I play Brighton. You know, I just cop the wanker rink. Like, someone will just be doing something just fucking stupid, and it'll just get my goat, and I'll get grumpy, and I'll just have a shit time out. But these guys we played against were super nice. You know, very clever people, very fun to play against. And before we get into the scores, I really want to shout them out because they were blooding a youth on the rink next to me. I reckon he was 11 years old, and he was having his first ever game of Pennants. How fucking cool is that, man?
It is really cool. It's our vibe. It's
exactly
the vibe.
Blood the youth. Get him in there. Just give him a crack. I was absolutely stoked to see that happening. Yeah, I was so blown away when he pulled up, and he was putting some good shots in, and I reckon once the nerves settled a bit for him, he was actually parking some pretty solid ones on. Now, the scoreline was not so kind to his learning, but that's okay. You know, we're here to learn, we're here to grow, we're here to be better bowlers. And the fact that it was his first game, and he was going toe-to-toe with what is basically our ace rink. So to explain what I mean by that term, essentially when you're selecting your Saturday sides, you're going to have 4 sides, whatever. Typically you'll have one rink that's kind of stacked. It's whether it's they're kept together for a while and they know how each other bowls, or they just sort of are in good form, whatever it is. There's one really good rink typically. And yeah, the kid came up against our ace rink pretty much and held his own. You know, they gave it a red hot go and did a really good job. When it came to our rink though, we parked some bowls on, Jimster. We got a few shots. In fact, we got 32 shots to their 7.
Unbelievable.
Fucking demolished them. I was very happy about that. Again, I think it's just a bit of bad luck. I don't know if that reflects on the club as a whole, but I personally have had some poor experiences with the Brighton Bowls Club. So was I really happy that we just fucking creamed them? Absolutely. We had the biggest winning margin of the side, and yeah, we just clattered them on. We were just putting on 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. We got a couple 4s. I was sure, like, we're going to cop an 8 here. Like, we're just going to explain what I mean, basically an 8 is every single one of our team's bowls we're going to be in for the count at the end of the thing. And they don't happen normally. Like, typically when an 8 happens, it means that someone's had a really, like, unlucky move, or one team's just sort of been off and the other team's been sort of on, and we were parking them on and parking them on and parking them on, and their skipper was just having a bit of trouble with the conditions or something. Great guy, really solid bowler, but it just wasn't working out for him. You know, the 50%ers, when you're down, a 50%er feels a lot more like a 20 to 80. You know, it just wasn't working out. And so, you know, we're parking them on, and eventually I was like, oh shit, we're in for an 8 here. We went to the other end with like 6 of our bowls in the count, and their fucking skipper drew the most beautiful draw shot and got him still down 2, but like fucking did a great job. He trailed the jack basically into a packet of R2.
Yeah, like cutting it back is always a good, like, it's a good feeling,
Yeah.
especially if you're almost getting an 8.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, you know, it was just that classic consolidation bowl of like, fuck, we're not going to win here, just park it close. And it was really well played, and he did a good job. Yeah, I'm super stoked with the fact that we won by that much. I'm super stoked the fact that we did that to that particular opposition. But again, we had a super stacked rink. Like, we kept the same rink from last week, which I spoke about previously, as just being absolutely loaded with ability level. You know, Saturday skippers, state coach experience. You can't really go wrong with that. And we didn't. And we've had a couple of very good wins. There was a bit of a point towards the end point of the game where I was starting to lose it a little bit. I was getting a bit tired. I was like, I wasn't listening to Schuey's wisdom, you know? I was making excuses in my brain. And then I remembered, Jimstar, what we spoke about last week, about how focus is, you know, it's all in here. And if you make up these excuses for yourself, of course you're going to lose. You know, it's black or white. It's win or lose. You park it on or you don't. And I settled in and I focused and I got those bowls back on the kitty. I was very happy about that. Yeah, it was a good day out. Everyone had fun. One of our rinks drew, which was really cool. They drew on the last shot of the last end, which was really fucking cool. Like, anytime you have that happen at a bowls game is a pretty fun experience. Great game out. Great bowlers. You know, if I could play those guys every time I played Brighton, I'd be very happy. Not because we won, but because they were genuinely cool people. This week we're playing Woodville 3 at Woodville. Woodville have synthetic greens, so they're going to be a bit of a challenge for us being used to grass. But Woodville are a really cool club, really cool people, really cool greens, really cool club facilities. What's not to love, Jimstar? I'm really looking forward to having a bit of a tight contest with them on Saturday afternoon. Or indeed Saturday morning if this 38-degree heat keeps up.
Yeah, hopefully we can get another pay-to-win index if Riley remembers.
Yeah, if I actually pay attention and buy myself a fucking CC and dry at the end of the game instead of a beer with my opponents, we'll actually get to increase the pay-to-win index. But we get to increase it this week, Jimstar, so it's okay.
Absolutely. This one's going to be brief.
Yes. For those that are unaware, we record this on a Wednesday. We play Night Owls Bowls on a Thursday. We played these matches the day after recording, day that the show went up, and it wasn't good, Jimstar. It was a bit of an average night out.
It was a bit of a shit show. I think the only thing that brought it back for me was that the first game we played was on, I think it's rink 17 at Grange, which depending on what I'm going to go from the club side. On the left-hand side of the rink, there's a lot of like dead grass and a bit of roughage, and it is just so unpredictable that you can't anticipate where your bowl is going to go. So everyone goes to the right-hand side, stacks it on the right-hand side, forcing you to then play the left. Because I was playing third, I believe, and it was yes, very, very difficult to play.
Yeah, it's the ditch rink. It can be very difficult to play in the best of times, and the condition of it is it's improving. It's gotten a lot better than it used to be, but it is still not great. Now, when it comes to playing our Night Owls matches, of course, we only play the 7 ends, then we rotate around to a different rink, and it wasn't our night, Jimster. You know how we've talked about how, like, the wine is coming. Like, we're going to have a night where we just fucking park everything on and everyone can get fucked. Thursday was not our night. We had a bit of a mare of it. But that's okay. You know, we're out there, we're having a go, we're learning stuff. There are a few ends where we perhaps made some decisions we probably shouldn't have made. Things like, you know, me putting the mat too far back, or, you know, playing a certain type of shot the way we shouldn't have. Whatever it is, everyone's learning every single week. And by putting all these experiences together, we become a much better, much more cohesive, much happier, much friendlier, much more skillful lawn bowls team. And that's what it's all about, really. So yeah, game 1, we lost 8-5. Game 2, we lost 12-2. There was a period in game 2 where I was like, fuck, we're going to be pantsed here. We keep drawing that rink with the dodgy light too.
Yeah. The old strobe light, it's like half strobe light, half just dark.
Yeah, like Grange has some lights strung above the A green. They work really well, except for the one right towards the end, roughly where the head typically is, on the rink that we keep playing on. And it just flickers and it goes out and it flickers and it goes out. And it's, Guy, put us on a different bloody rink, will ya? Anyway, Guy's the guy that does all the scorecards and all the scorekeeping, records, gets everything organized every week. He's a fucking champion. Love that man to death. But yeah, put us on a different rink, bro.
We almost did. I think it was because of that light. We were told to sort of go and have a chat to them, and we almost moved rinks, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, well, shit happens. I reckon that rink is cursed. We've played pretty shit on it. Not 2 weeks in a row. I didn't play the week before, but like the last 2 times that I've played, we've played on that rink. We haven't had a great game of it, game 2. So I reckon if we move rinks... Fuck, we got 2 bogey rinks, Jimster. I'm just realizing this. We've got 2 fucking bogey rinks. The fucking ditch rink on C green out the front, and the fucking dodgy light rink on the A green.
Yeah.
These fucking assholes. It's fixed. It's rigged. WWE has come to the great sport of lawn bowls, and it's at Grange Night Owls. They're fucking us, Jimster. Kayfabe. Kayfabe.
Not the Night Owls kayfabe.
Jesus. Well, unfortunately, the results don't get any better from there. I think we started with we should have started with these other couple of results and then gone into, you know, oh yeah, and then, you know, played Pennants and fucking smashed them. But, you know, we gotta keep up what we're doing, you know. We gotta keep the structure, the routine, if you will.
Yeah.
Of starting off with my Pennants bowling. Now, we went out on Friday night, Jimster.
Yep. We're young, we're hip, we went out to the Bowls Club.
That's right. On Valentine's Day, no less, we went out to the Bowls Club at West Lakes, the windiest fucking place on earth, and we watched a little bit of lawn bowls.
I actually think Oscar Piastri was testing the new car on their other green.
That's right, he was. For those that are unfamiliar with Adelaide's geography, West Lakes is basically in a giant fucking wind tunnel, and boy do you feel it when you play there. Really beautiful club, great facilities, great people. I say that a lot of clubs, eh?
I mean, that's just the Bowls Club philosophy.
Fucking bowls clubs are the best. Go to your fucking local bowls club. Even if you're just going to get on the piss. Just fucking do it. They're amazing places to go. Yeah, so West Lakes, windiest fucking place on earth. We were going there to watch the Premier League lawn bowls between Grange and West Lakes. And it started off pretty okay. And that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't there for the entire game. We got there just as the game started, and we watched about 7 or 8 ends, and then I had to go because I was helping a friend of mine from high school talk to women again. Very successfully, might I add. He got a pash. Good on you. But yeah, I was going to go off and help him talk to women, so we only watched the first little bit, and I reckon we saw the best parts of the game. You know, we saw most of the rinks sort of be around the mark with each other. And then this is something that I've noticed when watching these Friday night Premier League games, Jimster. When the sun goes down and the greens get a lot slower and everyone's a bit more tired from their workday, the home team just pulls away. We watched it happen when Modbury hosted Oh, I'm forgetting who they are now. But when Mowbray hosted a team, when the sun went down, they went from a couple of shots in front to like 25 shots in front. When Westlakes hosted Grange, they went from a few shots in front to... I
think they ended up winning by like 20 shots, I think it was overall.
It wasn't pretty, bud. It was not pretty. But we did get the opportunity to watch some of the best bowlers in the state go at it, including some really fortunate for us as spectators, unfortunate for them as players. Probably the two best rinks go head-to-head. It was really fucking sick to see how Rudiger went up against Mark Haynes, who used to be the state coach. He was my state coach, funnily enough. I went to like 3 state trainings, to be very clear. I'm not that fucking good. But yeah, Rudiger went up against Haynes, and they were probably the best rinks out there. And at the end of the game, they drew on 13 shots apiece, which is a fucking good match. It was a great tussle. We saw Rudy pull off the best drive I've ever seen in my fucking life.
It was crazy.
I wish I recorded this. I wish this was the coverage match. It would have been like, no hate to the actual coverage match. They did a really good job. But like, there were these 2 bowls sat just in front of the kitty, and Foxy sort of motions to be like, yeah, have a crack at it. If you hit it on this particular corner of one of the bowls, they'll all roll through and you'll sit in for shot. I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty fucking cool. And then he did it. He just fucking walked up, fucking Aaron Wilson did, cracked him, and it dude, I was in awe. He just fucking sent it. It was unreal.
It was leg cross stuff. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna say it. I just fucking exploded. I know. I was rock hard watching it roll down the green, and when it hit, oh fuck. All right,
Randy at the computer type.
Exactly.
Beat.
Oh dear. But yes, it was a very good game to watch. I was sad to leave, but obviously, you know, when your friend needs you to help him talk to women, you go help him. But while we were there at Westlakes Gymstar, we added to the pay to win index.
Oh boy, did we.
With our 1 CC and dry each.
After getting cut in front of, by the way, fuck that guy.
Right?
Even the bartender was like, hey, at least you guys didn't cut in line. And I was like, yeah, you're fucking right. We didn't.
Yeah, the way that they had their bar set up, there was a line of people all waiting. You know, we're standing there, we're waiting for service. Bar person's going through, moving stuff around, serve. A lot of people are asking for like a multiple weird shit that she has to pour and move around. And then she serves these 2 people, and this dude just fucking walks directly in front of me and starts chatting to him, and then orders a fucking drink. I was like, you fucking little bastard. What an asshole. There were only, like, it was the 2 of us who were ordering together, the one lady behind us, and that was it. Like, he could have waited an extra 30 seconds. But no. What a fucking little prick.
But then, the ultimate karmic experience was then we got $1 off because the woman behind us scanned her card.
Yes, we did. She was like, hey, use my card. And it was great. It was fantastic. Saved us 50 cents per drink, which amounted to just the most delicious of $1 savings. Jim, so to remind our viewers of what the pay to win index is, could you give us a quick recap?
So Riley and I played a pairs day just before New Year's, the day before New Year's. The mantra going into it was, if I'm coherent by the second game, we haven't done well enough.
Exactly right.
And we did. We were buying 4 CC and dries at a time for each other, and we found that the best bowls were played for us between drinks 6 and 8. So we believe that there is a pay-to-win index for 6 to 8 CC and dries. And so we are going around and analysing menus of different bowls clubs and accepting submissions for the price of a CC and dry at your local bowls club.
That's right, Jimster. Now, when it comes to the pay-to-win index, we do, of course, have the wonderful Grange Bowling Club up there with $9.80 per drink. Now, in order to pay to win at the Westlakes Bowling Club, it's going to set you back in the low range, $60.60. In the high range, $80.80. Because at Westlakes Bowls Club, a CC and dry costs you $10.10. If we compare it to, say, when I go out to a hip urban bar in the city where you pay like $20 for one of those cans, 10.10's pretty alright.
Yeah.
But in terms of Bowls Club prices, these guys, they're at the top of the list right now. And you know what? That's not good enough. They got to really just get it together. That's our second entry on the pay-to-win index. Yes, that's our second entry on the pay-to-win index. You too can contribute to the pay-to-win index. Let us know your locals' CC and dry prices at parkitonpodcast@gmail.com. Alrighty, Jimster. Shall we move into the big ticket item, shall we say?
Absolutely. I think we should have a look at BPL 21 happening in Moama right now.
Yes, Jimster. To remind everyone of our tips before we go into the actual ladder as it stands after the third day of competition. We were sort of aligned on most teams. You know, we had the Sydney Lions with the Sydney Lions together. We had the Tweed Head Ospreys together, and then we diverged, Jimster. I reckon that the Adelaide Pioneers are going to be up there, and I reckon that the Melbourne Extreme were going to be up there too. Whereas you reckon that the Gold Coast Hawks were going to be up there, and even more so, you reckon that the Sydney Saints are going to take the whole thing. Now, if we consult the ladder without even discussing some of the games that have been played, I can see here that, we said that perhaps Perth and Tasmania weren't going to do super well, just because of the nature of the competition, the fact they had some more green players, and, they're doing all right. But when you've played 14, 15 games and you're sitting at 4 wins apiece, you're not really lighting the world on fire, unfortunately. But power to them, they're doing their best, and the fact that they're out there having a crack, showing off bowls to the rest of the world, amazing stuff, guys. Now, there is a team in there, in that bottom 3 with 4 wins, that I said, without picking them as my tip, but I genuinely was like, there is no reason why these guys should not be in the finals come Friday. And they sit 4-11. Now, Jimster, with an extra day of competition left to play, do you reckon we write them off now? Like, they've played 15, there's 5 games a day. If they win 5 all up, they'll push them to 9, which would be enough to be in the top 4 right now. But that assumes that no one above them wins anything for the rest of the tournament, and I just don't see it happening. I reckon the Moama Steamers are just having a bit of a mare this tournament. It's time to perhaps look towards other teams for our bowling excitement, shall we say.
There's a couple of teams that are just sort of hanging around the bottom at the moment. I think anything sort of under the 7s, I would say, like the 7 wins is probably almost written off. Like, you got the Saints up and around there with 6. Like, they can probably get up and around it, but that again, that hinges on the fact that you've got the Adelaide Pioneers, you've got the Gold Coast Hawks, you've got those guys up and around it, and it does hinge on them not winning as much.
Yeah, it's real tricky. Like, you're now in the position where you're not just hoping that you win, you're hoping that others lose, and that can be really tricky when everyone's playing their guts out. Yeah, it's sort of like when you're on the third day of a golf tournament and you're like, well, I can't win myself. I have to hope that other people bogey the rest of the course. And that's just not a fun place to be. Your fate is no longer in your hands. You've got to just sort of hope for the best, which sucks. I really feel for him. Like you said, 6-7 wins is about the number that you can potentially be around there, especially since 5th is only sitting on 8 wins. The only team that's really pushed out and away is the Geelong Jets, the team that we were like, oh yeah, maybe not, with giant nuts Aaron Wilson on there. 12 wins, 2 games clear at the top of the ladder over the Tweed Ospreys. Both of us had those in our tips. Then in third is the Adelaide Pioneers with 9 wins. Gold Coast Hawks, which you had, also on 9 wins, but the net match points is what separates the two of them currently. They got the Sydney Lions, who are sitting in 5th with 8 wins, and then Melbourne Extreme sitting just underneath, outside of the finals standings, with 7 wins. It's going to be a really cool final day of competition. I'll probably be watching most of it because I've got the day off of work. We'll see what comes of it, Jimster.
Yeah, I'll be keeping an eye on the scores, keeping an eye on the ladder. I'm actually at a work conference all day tomorrow, so I'll be sort of possibly sneaking off at some points to check up on the scores. But yeah, it should be a absolutely ripper day tomorrow. Let me have a... Geelong vs Sydney, I think, is probably going to be out of round 17. I think the game of the round, unless you count the Melbourne Derby as anything to watch.
Oh, You got to watch the Melbourne Derby, don't you? Bit of the Melbourne Extreme versus the Melbourne Pulse. They're both sitting on 7 wins, Jimster. It could genuinely be the winning in of the tournament.
Could be.
We touched on this last week. The whole closeness of the format and the fact that these are genuinely some of the best bowlers in the world, full stop, all going at it. It's crazy, man. Like, anything could happen in this next day of competition, and fuck, I hope it does. Honestly, I would love to see Perth Suns go on a fucking tear, get up to 9 wins, and just knock someone out of the finals. Just fully crank them. Yeah, it'd be very, very good to see.
I did actually write something down about the BPL. I was watching at some point. It's been an absolutely crazy week at work, so I haven't been able to catch up on a lot of it. But I did watch round 2 Tassie vs Sydney Lions. Sydney Lions, yes. Yeah, so it came down to a shootout in the end, and Nathan Black put in a really good weighted shot to try and cut the Tridents out. Unluckily, didn't get that one out, so it was a win to Tassie, but it was a very, very close match. Came down to the wire.
I was very happy to see, I believe it was a Morton versus Geelong game, where they were both just going shot for shot with each other, just cranking them in, and eventually just drew a nice little 2 at the end of it. It was fantastic to watch, Jimster. What a great week of bowls, and I can't wait to watch some more tomorrow. Alright, Jimster. We've had some fun with the BPL. We've had some fun with the pay-to-win index. We've had some fun with the match reports. I think it's time for everyone's favourite segment. Bit of Schuey's Wisdom.
Alright, well, I've got a number here if you've got your book ready.
I've got my book primed and waiting, Jimster.
Alright, the number today is 139.
Fuck, I actually thumbed to it.
That's crazy.
No word of a fucking lie. I was like getting ready to riffle through, and I was sitting on fucking 138, 139. That's fucked. Holy shit. Okay, let me compose myself. Okay, so this is talking about the skill sets of different team positions, and it's talking about the qualities of a first-class third.
That's me.
That is you, Jimstar. So it's time for us to lock in and listen to the wisdom of Mr. Ian Schuey Shoeback. The first lesson I was taught about playing third was to always be up and shut up. Not an easy lesson, but an important one nonetheless. As if it wasn't just bad enough that they had just played 2 terrible bowls, they're then telling the skip how to get out of trouble. There are only 2 cases in which a third should provide instructions to the skip. The first is when the skip asks a question or asks what shot is best to play. The second is where the head has been disturbed and the skip should be informed of the current position. This is the duty of the third. If you strike an old-fashioned skip who doesn't like to be told, find a new team. Those types of teams will never gel and will generally lose, because the skip wants to be a dictator and there will be no teamwork. I think the key ingredient to success is the third and skip having a great rapport and understanding their relative strengths and weaknesses. So says Mr. Ian Schuey Shoeback.
I legitimately thought you were about to say that he's being a dick. And I was like,
it does
fair.
It does talk a little bit more about like being aggressive versus being conservative, but then it goes over the page. So unfortunately, that's where we have to leave it.
Yeah, we'll have to get 140 for that one.
Yeah, we'll get 140 for it, and we'll be on. Beautiful. There's some really cool photos in here of people in action, Jimster. I really like this book. It's a cracker. But yes, well, Jimster, I think it's time for us to wrap up another wonderful episode of the Parkiton podcast.
Yep. As we've said in previous episodes, you can email us. We said it in this episode as well. You can email us at parkitonpodcast@gmail.com. We want your CC and dry prices for the pay to win index. Any questions you have about the rules of bowls? I have been informed by a listener of ours that he would like a bit more of a comprehensive look at the general rules, which I believe, Riley, you talked to me about the idea of doing something like that, which is...
Yeah, so I reckon once the Pennant season wraps up, we'll do a full-on, like, this is what Lawn Bowls is series. So we'll talk about the general rules of the game, what each position does, different formats, and how to select bowls. Just a full-on, like, instructional, getting us up and ready for the next Pennant season, where hopefully we're going to have a youth rink. That's in the works. Well, hopefully we'll get enough young people out.
Yeah, so alongside the rules questions, any fun stories you have of bowls clubs or similar, they are always welcomed. And
Brilliant.
that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Well, next week we're going to go over BPL 21's finale, how it all shaped out, who was left standing after the dust of battle has fallen. We're going to chat about how state singles went for me, see if I'm playing in the knockout rounds shortly afterwards. Probably not, but we'll see how we go. And I reckon we'll have, if everything rolls out, we might have a very fun surprise. I think people just have to wait and see, Jimster. So until then, it's time to say goodbye.